Welcome to GolfPass Academy Tour. We are traveling around the country to help GolfPass members improve their game live and in person. Today we are in Scottsdale, Arizona, where we have assembled the finest instructors, all of whom can be seen on GolfPass. And they are here to inform, entertain,
I'll take it,
and get you on the right path to lower scores.
Well, hello, everyone. Who's ready to improve their game? Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Well, you come to the right place. I'm Vince Cellini. I'm a longtime golf host with Golf Channel, and I work on a show called PGA Tour Champions Learning Center. So it's great to have you here. We have a wonderful show ahead in our premiere. We have 4 brilliant instructors. You can see all of them on GolfPass. And throughout the course of the show, we will have them come out and have different aspects of the game, something that's going to help you level up, get better, and most of all, have fun. And the best part is it's interactive. So you'll be able to ask questions right after the segments. And then at the end of our show today, we'll also have a Q&A session. So if you have a question, you don't get to ask it right away, no problem. We will get to that. So listen, we're all trying to get better, right? Each and every day. And I think that journey in golf is really a lifetime process. You guys ready to go?
Ready.
Huh? All right, let's rock and let's do this. And without further ado, we'll bring out our first instructor. She's the host of The Next Shot. She played collegiate golf at the University of Delaware.
This practice plan is going to make the next shot your best shot.
Followed by some time in professional golf before becoming a teacher, a highly respected PGA teaching professional. She's been twice recognized as Golf Digest's Best Young Teachers in America. You may recognize her from hundreds of tips she gives out on Instagram under the handle @NattyGolf. How about a warm welcome to get things started? Nathalie Sheehan is with us. You're leading off.
Yep, no pressure.
You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. All right, so we're going to talk about contact,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
So we can do a lot of things right, but until we get to contact, sometimes that goes wrong.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to talk about fixing fat shots, thin shots, toe shots, and heel shots. So I don't know if anybody struggles with any of those 4 things, but you'll get something out of this.
Not at all. No.
So we're going to fix all of those things, and you're going to be playing better golf in no time, okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about is how we stop hitting fat shots. And fat and thin shots can sometimes come from the same thing, which is the center of your body is moving laterally too much in your golf swing. So one drill I love to do with people is having them hit with their feet touching to start. And then when we separate our feet, you can use a band around those legs, one of those little exercise bands just above those knees, or just feel like you activate those quads and kind of squeeze your leg muscles and hit some balls that way. That keeps your head nice and centered when you go to swing. It's a nice way to warm up and find the center of the club face, find consistent contact at the bottom of your swing. So when you get to the range before you start practicing, maybe you're warming up before you go out to play, start by hitting some balls just nice and easy with those feet touching, and then go ahead and move those feet apart and really feel like you're activating those leg muscles to make sure we're making that nice ground contact and we're not hitting too many fat or thin shots. So we'll hit one here with those feet touching. And you can get that nice solid contact like that if you're still struggling after that point. One drill that's really helpful for fixing those fat shots is going to be putting an alignment stick in the center of your feet. If you hit it fat, a lot of the time I see people are not shifting their pressure forward enough or hanging out on that back foot. Some of you may have experienced that feeling of you kind of finish and we're back here. So feeling like when we get set up, we're going to swing to the top of our backswing, and to start your downswing, I want you to feel like your trail knee moves toward that stick. So that shifts my pressure in front of that golf ball. It would be very hard to hit a fat shot if you can shift that pressure. That gets your center a little more in front of that golf ball, moves the low point forward, and that will definitely help you stop hitting those fat shots. Now, if you have the opposite problem, and you tend to hit it thin a lot, a great drill to help you stop allowing those hands to get too close to your body. That's what I see a lot with thin. Our hands get too close at some point in our golf swing. whether it's in the backswing or coming down and through that golf ball, we're going to create more width. So width is just the idea of keeping those hands away from our chest as much as possible when we are swinging, and that creates a consistent arc so that we can bottom out more in the same spot every time. So easy drill, and you could do this at home even, is to set up. We're going to swing back and stop. I'm taking my right hand for right-handed players off the club, and I'm placing my palm against the grip. So I'm almost feeling like I'm pushing out a little bit, and I'm going to allow the club to fall down to about where it's parallel to the ground again there. So you see how straight my arms are when I do this, versus the mistake most of you would make if you hit it thin is we are pulling everything in closer to us. And one of the thoughts that I find causes this to happen, if you think a lot about jamming that elbow into your side, which I hear a lot from people when they come take lessons, I'm just trying to keep my elbow in, I want to keep it in. That can make your hands and arms collapse into you a little bit too much. So I would rather you think more about extending those hands and arms down and away from you. And then from there, we can rotate through, and that creates that width and those nice long arms so we can make consistent contact with the ground. So translating that into actually hitting a shot here. A nice practice swing to simulate that would be swinging back and letting those hands and arms fall down. And my right arm is very straight when I do that, as you can see. It's not pulled in and jammed into my body. It's nice and extended, and from here I can just turn through and hit, and again, it's going to create really nice solid ground contact. So we can get that nice ball flight, and again, stop those poor contact shots from happening. So now that we've gotten ground contact covered, let's talk a little bit about if we tend to hit it off of the toe or the heel. We lose a lot of distance, we add too much side spin, and very just inconsistent when that's happening. If you ever get into a spot where you're on the golf course and we can't stop those heel shots, there's nothing worse. Very easy drill you can do is just simply set up 2 golf balls like this. We're going to set up to the outside golf ball, and we're going to swing back and hit the inside golf ball. That would immediately help you stop hitting it off the heel. And if you hit a few toe shots to start out doing this, totally fine. We want to change our pattern there. So we're going to go ahead and set up to that outside ball. And apparently that's a drill I need to work on. That was the best shot of the day so far. So that's a really nice, easy one. You could do it with a tee or just as a practice swing if this was something that started happening while you're out on the golf course. Very easy to do. Now, for all of our toe hitters that are here, what causes toe shots typically is the club is swinging over the top. Very common issue for many amateur golfers, can cause a loss of distance. You can get too much leftward spin, all sorts of things we don't want. A great feel to fix that is going to be, I'm going to do it this way so you can see me first. We're going to place the ball and the club way back behind your back foot. I want you to feel like you are pushing the golf ball out toward right field if we were on a baseball field and I'm on home plate. So it would look something like this. Sort of flinging the ball out to the right. And notice how my arms are nice and long. When I do that, I've got lots of body rotation. That is going to force the club to swing so much less over the top for you to stop those toe hits. So if we go ahead and set up, I'm going to have just that feeling again in my head. I'm picturing as I come down and through, I'm pushing that ball a little bit out to the right of my target. That was all right. So again, using that feeling of almost flinging the golf ball out to the right is going to help you stop those toe shots from happening. So those are just a couple of drills that hopefully you can take with you, whether you have one or all of those problems. Try some of those things out next time you're at the range warming up, going to practice or going to play. I think that's going to help you make some more solid contact so that we can start being a little more consistent out on the golf course.
Very good. How about a hand for Nathalie Sheehan?
Very nice. So the contact pump seems to, we kind of solve that or get our arms around that. The other stuff kind of follows, right?
Agreed. Yes, for sure. You want to focus on, I think, good contact first. The direction and being a little bit more controlled and all of that will come second, but really solid contact is so important to get down first.
Really good stuff. How about some questions? Who has a question for Nathalie? Oh, you guys don't have it figured out. Oh, here we go. Yes, sir.
When the golf ball slides off the club face to the right, what are you doing wrong?
Most likely, probably coming over the top a little bit, but the club face is king. So if that's happening, the club face is simply pointed to the right when we hit the ball, whichever direction our club is coming from. So one of the things I love to do, you may have seen this before, is think about if you were playing ping pong or tennis, how would you put topspin on a ball? If you're right-handed, right? So you'd kind of go like this with your hand, right? If I was playing tennis or ping pong, that's the feeling that would help you close that club face going through. No chance that ball can go right on you if you can close that club face up. But that's a really simple picture to have in your head.
Very nice. Sir?
Would that draw it as well?
Hopefully, eventually, yes, but at least it would initially stop that ball from slicing or kind of pushing out to the right.
How do you actually draw it?
Yeah, how do you draw it? So the club, to hit a true draw for a right-handed player, the club has to be swinging to the right of our target some, and the club face actually has to be a little bit closed to that, if that makes sense. So if I had my alignment stick on the ground here, this is where I'm aimed. My club's got to be swinging a little bit out to the right of where I'm aimed, and my club face is probably going to be pointed a little bit in between those two things, if that makes sense.
One more time for Nathalie Sheehan.
Nathalie, great job.
Thanks so much.
Wonderful.
Pleasure.
Wonderful job.
Thanks.
All right. Outstanding. So we've worked on contact. Okay. So a great starting point. And we have to understand that that's not necessarily our full swing, but it's just a feel of that, understanding what that means and how you get there. And that's just the first step in our show here on GolfPass Academy. Next up, we have one of the top teachers in the game. He's the host of Golf Fix, the founder of the Studio Golf.
I'm gonna go all the way back, slam the bed.
He honed his craft under the watchful eye of the great Jim McLean and came full circle when GolfPass brought him and Jim together for an edition of Golf's Top Instructors. He's been recognized as one of Golf Digest's best young teachers in America 5 different times. He hounds me for fitness tips all the time. Let's bring him out right now. He's going to talk about distance, something we're all interested in. Devan Bonebrake's with us.
Thanks for having me.
How are you? So distance, we're all chasing it now, right? This is a game. So how do we get there?
I may have heard it once or twice, at some of the comments. So there's really 2 main reasons why we're going to gain more distance. One's going to be contact. Nathalie totally took care of that, so you guys are set there. And the only second way is going to be having more club head speed. So today I'm going to talk about how to gain some club head speed. I found for most amateurs, if they can harness these few elements, it's not very difficult for them to gain at least 7 miles an hour club head speed. Now, does anyone here know, bonus points if you do, how many on average yards you gain by just gaining 1 mile an hour of club head speed? Does anyone here know that?
3 yards.
Wow, he has studied GolfPass a lot, and that actually leads me to say thank you all for being GolfPass members. We all wouldn't be here without you, so much appreciated. I can tell you've watched the video, so perfect answer. That's right, 3 yards on average for every mile an hour. So if you're gaining 7 miles per hour of club head speed, you're gaining about 20 yards off the tee. But a lot of people don't realize that it's not even just off the tee, then that also segues into your irons. So in general, if you're able to gain 7 miles an hour of club head speed, you're going to be going from hitting a 4 iron into a hole to an 8 iron. I know about you, but I would much rather have an 8 iron into the hole. Everyone else agree here? All right, so where does club head speed really come from? And so it's always a combination of what your body is doing and what the arms and hands are doing, and really ultimately the sequence that you're using each and one of those in order. So I'm going to start off, because the body is important, and I know not everybody's a gym person, but I want you to at least be warmed up. It's going to be much easier to utilize your body the correct way if you have a little bit of a warm up. So bare minimum, these are the 2 exercises I would recommend. Obviously, you're welcome to do a lot more. I'm very into fitness. Vince is obviously very into fitness. Look at this guy. He's like Benjamin Button, aging backwards. Every time I see him, he looks younger. But what I want you to make sure of it and kind of understand too is that if part of your body isn't as warmed up as another part, you're going to overuse maybe the part that is more mobile. Most people, the wrists and the arms are going to be a little more mobile than the hips and the torso. So if you're getting to the range and you're not warmed up down here, you might be 80% arms and hands and 20% body, because that's really where your mobility is at that moment in time. And so we all want to have, the best of what we have that day. And so I would just recommend warming up. So first one, they're very, very simple. The first one is just going to be a side lunge with a rotation. So this is going to stretch the hips out. It's also going to stretch the torso out and really help you make a bigger turn. More coil back is going to equal a lot more coil through. So pretty basic stuff there. The next one is going to be a forward lunge with a side bend. So when you're turning back, you're not just turning, you're also bending the side, and same thing coming through. And especially with the driver, being able to have that side bend as you rotate allows you to hit up on the ball, allows you to come from the inside, allows you to have a lot more distance. So when you're doing this, don't be like, oh, I hate doing this. Make it in your mind, this equals distance. And how much do I want that distance? I know we all want a lot of it. So the second one's just going to be a forward lunge, club above your head, and then always lunge and tilt into the lead leg. So I'm tilting into my left leg and then tilting in to my right leg. Perfect. That wasn't so bad, was it? That wasn't too bad. All right, I'm going to grab a couple alignment sticks. I like to use stuff as much as possible, whether it's on my show or in lessons, that people can also use themselves. So training aids are amazing, but I know not all of you have all of them. So this first one is just going to be a great visual and a great drill for getting the body to work properly. So what I want you to do is I want you to stick this through your belt loops if you have them. If not, you can hold it with your left hand. Put the other one on your shoulder. So this is just going to represent what your lower body's doing and your upper body's doing. Great segue from this into getting the body warmed up. So what we're looking for, and one thing I see a lot of people have questions is, hey, am I supposed to use my lower body going back? I thought I was supposed to restrict it. Is it okay that my knee's coming in? The answer for the most part is always yes. I think for a lot of people, especially as they get older, they think, oh, I can't turn anymore, but they're so restricted down here that they can only turn so much up here. For instance, if I try to keep my lower body super still and just rotate my upper, that's about all I got. If I let this left knee kick in, this right hip kick back, that's going to make almost like I'm spinning my body in and around. It's going to be a lot easier to turn my shoulder. So Jim McClain was one of my big mentors, and he talked a lot about an X factor. An X factor is a differential between the lower and the upper. Well, if I turn my lower 50 degrees and I turn my upper 100, that's a 50-degree differential. That's amazing. It's going to be very hard to get that differential if I don't turn the lower. So big kind of key is lead knee works in, right hip works back, and I want you to just try to create a nice big differential. You can kind of see that here at the top. Now, what I love about these sticks is going to give you an awareness for the downswing. So how the body works coming down, just like if I was to, throw a club, throw a ball, it's a little weight shift, a rotation, then a release. And so what we're going to work on here, as far as what the body does, nice big turn back. And you can see there's a difference between the top and the bottom. I'm going to try to move the bottom first. So this is kind of that sequence. So we're going to press, they're going to open. Everyone has a different amount that they can do this. And then after we open, we're going to push up. So it's a little forward, rotate, and up. And I just want you to focus just on the body. A lot to think about if you're doing this with the club in your hand. This is just to get those things dialed in. So I'm going to do it one more time. Back. What's the first move? Forward. Then what's the next move? Turn. What's the last move? Up. God, you guys are such great listeners. No wonder you're here. So now that I have that, that's going to make it a lot easier for me to use my body successfully. That's what we need to feel. So the second drill, and I'll quiz you guys again, but you keep getting everything right. If my body's doing all the right things, what's the other area that I can use in my body, if you will, that can allow me to have more speed? So I talked about at the beginning, there's the body and there's the sort of swing. I like that. Arms and hands. So this is a great drill. I want you to take one of these sticks and incorporate what you just felt with the body stuff. So you can take your driver, you can put it upside down, stick it out in front of you for balance. And so what I want you to do is going back, I want you to make a nice big turn, just like you just did, and then create a little box at the top. So you can see with the club, or in this case, the stick, the elbow, and the shoulder, I'm creating a little box. There's also a box from my elbow to my side. I'm going to have that same sequence again. I'm going to press, I'm going to rotate. But now what I want you to do is I want you to feel like you're going to unload this angle you have in your right arm and try to make the loudest swoosh you can after this club. And so that was all coming from my arms and hands. So we're going to go back and through, back and through. And then once you do that, then you're ready to hit the driver. Then you're ready to use the arms and the body in a synchronous motion and make sure that everything blends together. So before I hit one here, I know you all have been waiting, is I want to make sure that the grip is not overlooked. So I think the grip is one of the most overlooked things when people are talking about getting distance. And so one of the worst things you can possibly do with the grip is hold it in the palm. So a great drill for this, because if it's in the palm, it's just super hard to hinge your wrist. The club becomes super heavy, and it's a lot harder to create that lasting whip through the ball. So what I want you to do is I want you to hold this on your side. You notice if I'm holding on my side, so for a guy maybe like a briefcase, woman a purse, feel like you're kind of holding something over here. If I'm trying to hold the palm, I can't get that even halfway up. If I hold it all the way in the fingers, you can see it's perfectly parallel to the ground. So if you can't hold it like this, where it's parallel to the ground, it's too much in your palm. This also generally gets me a neutral to slightly stronger grip, which I would highly recommend if you want more distance. The club face, as Natalie said, is king. If that club face is open, I can tell you to make the best sequence in the world, and guess what? That ball's just gonna go to the right all day long for the right-handed golfer. So hold it in the fingers, club face straight up and down, thumb just barely to the side of the shaft, but pretty much on top, and now I'm locked and loaded. So before I hit this shot, I'm gonna try to put this all together. And one of the best drills, in my opinion, for speed and feeling the swing, it's called a swing for a reason. People that struggle with distance tend to hit. And we're trying to create as much speed as possible, so we got to utilize every aspect we can, our continuous swing. So I want you to set up, gripping the fingers, club halfway back, and I just want you to start to swing back and through without stopping. And what you're hearing here is that noise is after my body versus before my body. And you can really see a big difference. So 5 continuous swings and then step up to the ball and hit. So gripping the fingers, relaxed arms and hands. Good setup, load, unload, explode. I'll take it, not bad. See, the warm-up works, I promise. It works very, very well. Thank you, there. I was waiting for the applause. But no, the thing is truly, and I just see this in my lessons every day, is that distance changes the game, and all of you have the ability to gain more yardage. And it might be a little more in the body stuff, maybe a little more in the arm and hand stuff, whatever it may be, it's definitely there for you. And having a 8-iron or 7-iron in versus a hybrid or 4-iron is going to make a massive difference as far as your overall score and just your ability to play different golf courses. So distance is huge, contact's big too. And so again, just to remind you, gripping the fingers. I mean, for a lot of you, I would say, and Adam Scott used to do stuff like this too, just kind of hold it on the side. And this will ensure that you have a good grip at the beginning. You can see that the toe's above the heel, then put your trail hand on and then soften. So I'm really trying to feel a good load, rotate the hips, rotate the shoulders, forward, around, swoosh. And so you can really see as you start to do those continuously, it becomes more of a whip and becomes ultimately a swing. And when everyone says, hey, that guy has a good swing or that gal has a great swing, how good does that feel? Especially when you see the ball going a lot farther and right down the fairway. So nice swinging feel here, good order, relaxed grip, load, unload. I'll take that too. Hair on the heel. I need Natalie's help.
How about a hand for Devan Bonebrake? Well done, partner. Well done. You know, I just want to say, and we're going to open it up to the audience for questions. As we age, we definitely lose flexibility. I talked about PGA Tour champions.
Yeah.
And the guys who still get it out, Ernie Els, still very flexible and smooth. Vijay Singh has not lost much of that at all. John Daly, I'm not saying he's a fitness guy, but, you know, he's blessed. He's able to do that because we get shorter, right,
Yeah.
as we get older. So those stretching movements, it doesn't take long, right? I mean, just to incorporate.
No, 100%. I mean, I think there can be a huge percent change just by doing it. And it builds on each day. One day you do it, the next day becomes easier and easier. And all of a sudden you're able to go back to maybe what you were 10 or 20 years ago just by doing some of these functional training exercises.
All right. Who has a question for Devan? Right here, front.
Does that finger grip apply to other clubs as you're going down the fairway?
Great question. I would apply it to all clubs except for the putter. So, which kind of makes sense, right? So in putting in general, we don't want to have a lot of wrist action. We don't have a lot of arm action. So we're going to try to set that more in the palm so that it's all, in a sense, one motion. You know, we want to have different levers in a golf swing. We want to be able to create some speed with that. And so, yes, whether it's an iron, a driver, and even with the irons, it's going to make it a lot easier to square the club face, which generally makes you want to get forward, like you said, and hit the ground after the ball. And that's probably, to me, you know, with an iron, at least down the fairway, one of the most important #1 fundamentals is just, can you hit the ground in the same spot every time after the ball?
Right here, Devan.
As you get older, obviously it's a little harder on the back. Do you suggest maybe an open stance?
Great question. So what I would say with that, and that's where I kind of feel like letting your lower body move a little bit more, maybe even letting your toe come, you know, your heel off the ground a little bit. I mean, we see a lot of that, with some of the, most fantastic traditional professionals, Bobby Jones, we see it on the long drive tour too. So you don't have to necessarily do what the long drive guys are doing, but if you do 1% of that, it's going to give you a lot more range of motion. And I would just say certain things such as flaring your feet open help a lot. So generally, the more the right foot or the trail foot's flared open, easier to turn back. The more the lead foot is flared open, the easier it is to turn through. And so if you struggle taking the club back, if anything, I would just say try to flare that trail foot open a little bit more. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to open that hip and then ultimately get a nice full turn. Also generally creates more of that draw, which for most people is going to help get them a few more yards too.
Devan, let me ask you this from a psychological standpoint.
Sure.
Getting more distance does what to the player?
I think it just gives you a lot more confidence. It makes you feel like you always have a chance. If you're on a long par 4, I mean, if you feel like, you have to go driver 3-wood, wedge up and make the putt, I mean, you're kind of already defeating yourself in your mind. It's, bogey's probably what you think you're going to get, and par would be, almost feel like a birdie. So distance changes the game. It makes you feel like you're in control of the outcome and makes you feel like you have a lot more potential.
Thank you so much. How about another hand? Thanks, guys. Devan Bonebrake. Are we having fun? Are we having fun? Are you not entertained? Right? Great instruction, approachable, informative, excellent. So we're going to keep things rolling now with our next GolfPass coach, another highly visible instructor that you see on GolfPass. We have an Arizona native. She's a co-host of School of Golf.
School of Golf is back in session.
A professional golfer, model, television personality, played collegiate golf at Arizona State. We have any Sun Devils here? Turned pro, eventually a 2-time contestant on Golf Channel's Big Break. In fact, she won Big Break Dominican Republic. Please welcome one of your own. Blair O'Neill is here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
Vince, thank you. You guys are learning a lot today, aren't you? You're going to make better golfers after this, absolutely.
So, you're up next, and we are going to discuss.
We are now going to work on the scoring shots. Yes. Anyone like scoring shots? You hit a really good drive. You feel like I've got to make a birdie from here. I need to convert. And then sometimes you don't. How frustrating is that? No? Am I alone? Am I alone? I know we can all relate. Hitting the long ball and driving the ball far came pretty easy to me. And putting, I was always a pretty good putter. The part of my game that I struggled with were those scoring shots, converting those really good drives to birdies or to an absolute par. So I was told for better and to play better and to capitalize on your strengths of your game, the scoring shots need to improve. So I'm talking those like 30 to 70 yard-ish shots, those in-between numbers that sometimes aren't comfortable for all of us, right? Yeah. So I was so focused and so consumed with hitting the perfect distance that I didn't do a lot of good things in the golf swing, and I didn't hit solid shots. I would practice hours and hours out on the practice range, and then I'd go out into a tournament and I would have these shots, and I never felt really confident. And then later in my career, I actually really improved these scoring shots, and I figured out a different thought process to approach these shots. So now I'm going to give you what works for me, because what you need to do to be successful in these shots is to have a go-to shot that's simple, that gives you confidence, and that you're going to hit solid every single time. And it doesn't have to be the perfect distance, so scratch that out of your head. If you can be 5 yards long, 5 yards short, but when you make solid contact and hit a good solid shot, you'll be on line. And sometimes I find that even if I'm 5 yards long or short, that's oftentimes better than 5 yards right or left, depending on the situation. So I'm okay with that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take, right in here, I just have a gap wedge. What I like to do is just have a square face. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not trying to hit a sexy flop shot. I'm just trying to hit a solid, consistent shot that I can rely on every single time when I'm out on the golf course. So in my stance, I always will put the ball a little bit further back of middle of my stance. I grip halfway down on the handle, and I do a little forward press. Now from here, that's my perfect setup. So those 3 things, that's simple. Everyone can remember that. Everyone can do that. Just behind middle of the stance, grip halfway down on the handle, little forward press. Now from here, the next thing that I like to do is think about on the finish. You must, this is an absolute must. You have to finish with everything facing your target. So this is where you want to finish. Now, a lot of people don't hit these shots good because they're trying to control the distance. They're so consumed with the distance that when they hit their shot, they try to control the distance by controlling after they hit. So let's say I feel like in my swing that I'm going to be hitting it too long. So I stop that. I stop my swing and I leave my club face open. Or maybe I feel like I need to take some distance off of it in my swing, and I end up pulling it, closing the club face. So I'm trying to do a lot of control with my swing through the ball to try to control the distance. And I think a lot of golfers do that. So my one must have is that I have to finish with everything facing to the target, and this club face is always staying right in front of me. All right. So I'm never finishing here. I'm never flipping it, and I'm never leaving it out here. If you can always check that you're right here, head, shoulders, knees, and toes facing the target. And this club face always stays in front of my body, finishing right here. So let's do this first. Let's do grip down halfway on the handle, pulls a little behind middle of stance, forward press. And I finish with everything facing the target. Club face stays directly in front of me. And what I'm also doing is I like to call that making a good finish. Well, what does making a good finish mean? To me, I feel like making a good finish means that you keep the speed of the swing through the ball. You don't stop and do what I said before, leave the club face open. You don't stop and flip the club face over, but you keep that speed of the swing through the ball so you can always finish right here with everything facing the target. So my focus is 1, on everything I've done in my setup before the club's in motion, and then 2, my thoughts are out here on how I'm going to finish this golf swing. So a little drill that you can do, or a little tip that you can do on the range to try to feel and give yourself a visual of how am I going to keep that speed through this thing, make that complete swing. I like to put a tee a couple feet in front of the ball and just feel like this club face is going over that tee. It's not touching it, but it's just swinging over the tee. Your body's turning, everything's going towards the target. So what this is doing is I've taken all the attention out of your backswing and I'm putting all the attention towards the target and everything that's after the ball. And again, this finish right here, to me, I like it because it feels like I said I've made a complete swing. I haven't stopped my swing. It stays on line. I'm hitting it with a square club face, so I'm not hitting it right or left. And when you're out on the course, you might not hit the exact distance that you want to, but if you've hit a solid shot on line, you know for the next hole, if you come to that shot, you know, okay, I hit a good swing here. I'm confident with that. I need to hit it a little bit shorter, a little bit harder, versus if I've hit this wedge shot and I opened the face or turned the club over, now I'm really lost. So the next time I have another 30 to 70 yard shot, I'm like, oh, heck, now I don't know what to do because the other one was so far off. But if you can at least hit a solid shot and have a go-to swing for those shots and keep it simple, then it's going to give you some confidence and you at least have a good starting point, and I promise you the distance part of it will come. So that's worked for me. I think it's probably going to help a lot of you as well. So those 2 things you do before the club's in motion, and then after the ball, how do you finish? Check those parts.
Excellent.
Swing.
Great job, Blair. Before we let you go, we all want that shot that we hit in and really the spin. We want to bite, and look, that makes everybody feel good. How do we get there?
Well, it's kind of similar. It's about keeping the speed through the ball. So I would probably take my 60 degree, and if you want to get spin on the ball, you have to keep the speed through the ball. So it's almost like, my 4-year-old son just took a lesson last week and they told him slow, fast. And if you think about that, it's pretty true. Slow, fast. That gives you a good cadence. It gives you a good measure to make sure that you're swinging through the ball, that you're getting speed through the ball, and you're having a good finish. So this right here is a gap wedge, so I'm not going to get much spin on this, but I would open the face and just make sure that I'm kind of, I'll say, for lack of better terms, just swinging hard through the ball. But again, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, chest, everything is facing that target.
Very, very good. And you know what? Excellent.
Thank you.
I mean, we're talking the great players. What do they tell you? 100, 120 yards in. That's
Those are the scoring shots. Yeah, and it's the same thing. Even if you have a 120-yard shot, that same technique. That's the shot I won Big Break Dominican Republic on. I had 120 yards. I took a 9-iron. It was windy. Choked down on it. Did the exact stance I just told you, and I made sure that I finished a good, solid finish towards the target. And it was great.
I know. I saw it on your Instagram page. It's all over there. I've had a question for Blair on it. Here we go.
Hi, Vince. Thank you. Sure. Blair,
Yeah.
for us 30 to 70 yard players that everybody has those shots.
Yes.
Does this help you with a shank, the dirty S word? Because you know, I've got a great round going, 60 yards, par 5, up and down, birdie, all that, and boom, I shank up, especially the wedge gap, even a
Right.
pitching wedge, the wedges,
My hunch is, are you also opening the face address?
especially out of the rough. You know, I'm trying to punch out of the rough, but one shank around for a guy who shoots, you know, in the 70s, it's frustrating.
So any shank, any round is frustrating, right? This absolutely will help you. So that's why I think simplifying the shot. So I think I said this, but I like to set up with these shots with just a square face. So I just let the club head do the work. I'm not really manipulating the face either way, unless I have, you know, water or sand to get over. I have to hit a really high, soft shot. So I would say set up with this club face square and do this drill with the tee in front of you. When you're hitting a shank on these short shots, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is I was saying that you're not confident through the shot, so you're quitting on it. You're stopping. You're leaving the face open, and there it goes. Or you do what I liked to do back in the day, is I would quit on it and flip my hands over and try to control it, and then you know you have no go-to point. So yeah, definitely try to feel like you have a complete, good finished swing. And focus more on this than miss. You know, oftentimes all your attention is back here and you get stuck here. So set up, do the things in your setup to be perfect, and it's all about what you do through the ball.
Commit.
Yeah, commit. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what does it look like to finish a chip shot well? You know, like when I think of finishing an iron shot, it's high, it's strong.
Yeah, so
How do you do that well?
I'll show you. Like my iron finish would be here. Okay. My good chip shot would be here. So again, like I said, everything is to the target. My knees, my hips, my shoulders, and my club face and club head is always in front of me, almost an extension of my belly button. So here is where I would want to finish. You don't want to finish here, and you're not finished in here. I see that a lot, but you've got to be here. And it sounds so easy, but work on it. I'm telling you, it sounds so easy, but go out to the, you know, the short game area and hold your finish and see, where am I actually finishing? You know, give yourself a starting point.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
good. So good. How about that? Blair O'Neill, big hand. All right. No excuse now, right? We're getting you there. We're in motion, moving closer, and we're going to get you a complete game. So we want to keep this thing rolling. And thank you so much for all of your questions and your involvement as well. And who feels like they learned something at this point already, right? Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to keep things going now with another one of our GolfPass coaches, and she will be hitting cleanup here for us. It's a very special guest. She's a champion trailblazer, and she is here to help take your game to the next level, just like our other coaches. She's won over 30 times worldwide. Not only she'll be sharing her insights today, we're also very excited to celebrate her as the host of a brand new show on GolfPass that we'll be releasing next year called Tee to Dream, which involves players, charity functions, kind of a behind-the-scenes show.
Yes.
Yes.
I did it.
And according to the card, her uncle dabbled in professional golf. I don't know. How about a warm welcome for Cheyenne Woods? Hey, congratulations on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent,
Very
excellent.
excited.
Great to have you here. So
Thank you.
you're going to talk a little bit about your journey, right, to professional golf and some of the things that you've learned before, during, and now, even today.
Yes. So for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm Cheyenne Woods. I'm actually from here, Phoenix, Arizona, born and raised. Yes, best state in the country. I played collegiate golf at Wake Forest University. I played golf my whole life growing up, and my goal was always to be a professional golfer. One thing that I've realized in talking to amateurs, juniors, and even some professionals is that one thing that's never taught to us is how to practice. And that's one thing that I learned when I turned professional and I'm playing and I'm traveling, and I'm realizing you get really tired. You get really tired, but you need to practice because you want to be the best golfer you can be. So I learned that I needed to figure out how to structure my practice in an efficient and focused way. So I want to share with you guys two things that I did as I was traveling and playing, and things that I do today still as a mom of two, trying to fit in the time to practice and focus on certain skills that I want to work on for my game. Now, the range is great for a couple of things. One is to stretch, get your body warmed up, get all stretched out, be athletic. And two, to work on your tools you're bringing, your drills, to work on specific skills. We've learned a lot of tools today that you guys can work on the next time you're out or today. But how do we translate that to the golf course? Who's ever had that issue of translating the range to the golf course? Me too. Yes, every day. So when I was traveling and playing on tour, I figured out a system that worked for me in being able to focus on specific yardages and skills and then work on the adaptability, the adjustments that I needed to make, like in real golf. You're never hitting the same shot twice. When you're out on the course, you're needing to constantly adapt. But how do you work on that? So for me, what I like to do is I call it circuit training on the range. Right now I have my 56 degree. You can use any club, whatever distance you want to work on that. I love working on my short wedges, so Blair gave us some great tips that you guys can use for your wedges as well. I'm gonna work on 50, 70, 90 yards. 3 different yardages, and I'm gonna hit 3 balls to each target. You're gonna find a flag, a tree, maybe a grate in the grass that you can pick for that specific yardage. What I'm gonna do, 50 yards, let's go at that 100 red, 50-yard shot. I'm really focusing on feel, distance. There's a little left, but as you hit 3 balls in a row, you get into a rhythm of what that feel is, what that distance is. After the 3 balls at 50, let's move to 70. Let's do 70 yards at that orange flag. So I have to adapt and adjust now. I have the same club, bigger swing. 70 yards, I'm thinking about feel, target, just like real golf. You then do that at 90 yards as well. I like to do this 3 times through, moving from target to target. On the 3rd time through, it's a real test of being able to execute, because what I'm going to do is do 1 ball at each target. 1 ball at 50, and I'm going to do my full routine, because that's what we do on the golf course. Take my practice swing, get behind the ball, and what I'm thinking about here is target. I'm visualizing the exact ball flat I want. I'm seeing that ball land on line with my target. Keeping it really simple, target focused, 50 yards. It's not going to be perfect, but this is all about the process of testing yourself to be able to execute this shot at hand. 1 shot at 50, 1 shot at 70, 1 shot at 90, and we're working on routine and process. 70 yards at the orange. Same club, different swing. Just like in golf, when you're on the course. And that 1 shot each target really forces you to see if you can execute. It's really hard to stand on the range and beat balls for an hour. We all do it. But how can you translate that to the golf course and hit the shot when you need to? So this is a drill that I would do. Again, you could do it for any yardage. I focused on short wedges today. You could use 7-iron, focus on 150, 170, 190. Different target, same club, different clubs. Another one that I do really love to do as well. Once you get that, I love to play a hole on the range. So let's grab a couple clubs. I'm going to grab driver, 7-iron, pitching wedge. I'm going to create a hole on the range that I can play that maybe mimics what I'm going to see on the golf course. With the driver, I'm going to pick a fairway. So let's see what we have out here. We're going to do, fairway is yellow flag, white flag. I'm, again, visualizing. Routine is so important when you're on the golf course. That consistency, visualizing your target, seeing the shot you want to play, getting into the shot, and focusing on what you want to do with this club. Oops. I think that stayed in the fairway.
Good.
But again, this is about, it's not going to be perfect at all. So we hit our driver, par 4. I've got my 7-iron, new target, 150. Let's go right over the 150 right here. So I'm playing a hole on the range, needing to adapt, needing to adjust for every single shot. So that was a made up par 4. I think I'm on the green in 2. But those are a couple ways that I love to make my practice interesting, fun, engaging, and it really teaches me how to process through the shot, how to adapt to different shots, and teach myself how to execute when it really matters. Again, we've learned so much today, a lot of great drills, a lot of great tips. Now we bring it all together here with the adaptability of your practice and practicing like you play.
Cheyenne, great job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you about, moving to the professional level, finishing rounds. You've probably heard that. You got a couple of famous guys talked about that. Tiger and Jack always say, you have to finish your round. And when you're in contention, or maybe it's just your round that day and you're really going well, but you have to finish it. How do you get there mentally to finish that round?
It sounds so simple, but you really just have to stay in the moment. I play my best rounds when I'm not thinking about the score. And that's so hard. And that's why when I am on the range, I'm not only practicing the physical and the technique of golf, but the mental as well. Really going through the process of what you're focusing on. What in your mind can you control? And in golf, there's only so much that we can control, as much as we want to try and control every single detail. But as you're on the golf course and you're trying to finish a good round, and just get through 18, you really just have to focus on that moment of a shot that you can control. Keep it as simple as possible. It's so easy to think about the shot before or think about the shot ahead, but if you can stay in that moment, really have focused swing thoughts and focused targets to keep your mind focused on what is right in front of you at that moment.
I can tell you that in speaking with folks who are out here, a lot of times I'll be traveling and they'll say, I thought about playing on the Champions Tour. I thought about playing professional golf. It's a little different when everything has to be putted to the hole and you have to finish. So what about the pressure of standing over a putt? That does mean something. Maybe it means a playoff. Maybe it means a win.
Yes. I tell my husband that all the time. It's like, you can't just drop the ball and hit 2 shots or cheat out there, because you have to really practice like you play. So when you are in a pressure-packed situation, I've learned a lot of mental tools that have helped me. Simple things like breath control, being able to take a deep breath. Because when you feel nerves on the golf course, you're not just feeling it in your chest, you're feeling it in your hands, you're feeling it in your legs. And you need that to hit a solid golf shot in that moment. So if you can work on your breath control, you can work on controlling your mind of, again, very focused and detailed targets and goals of what you want this ball to do. I'm so big on manifesting, visualizing, seeing what you want to happen. I think as golfers, it's so easy to say and see what we don't want to happen. There's so many bad shots that can happen. So let's focus on the good shots and what we do want this ball to do. And when you're in that high pressured situation, that's what you want to be doing in that moment.
What a great point. Who has a question? Yes. How about another round of applause? Thank you. Really nicely done. We're going to get a couple of questions here. Yes.
Hi, can I ask you your opinions about using aim point for your putting?
Yeah, definitely. Aim point has become so popular, and aim point, again, is a way to read putts while you're on the green using your feet and a little bit of calculations. But I think it's whatever works best for you. I was a plumb bobber when I play, so I plumb bob and I read greens that way, but I do also use my feet as I read greens. It's a combination aim point of feel and math in a sense. But I think it's really great for amateurs or anybody to have that go-to. This is going to work because, I'm doing the calculations, and I think it's based on just what you're comfortable with. And doing what's easiest for you all on the golf course. Everybody is a different type of player, whether you're feel or more mechanical. But I do like aim point. A lot of the best players in the world use it. Just a matter of, don't let it slow you down. Don't let it make you overthink things. Because at the end of the day, when we're on the golf course, we're athletes. Golf is a reactionary sport. You want to feel it. You don't want to overthink it. If you overthink, you become stagnant over the ball. So the more you can free yourself up, the better you'll play.
Another question? Yes. Anyone? Here we go. Go ahead. Excuse me.
Thank you. In my game, I differentiate between practice and warm-up. And warm-up is usually that I'm going out and playing 18 holes next rather than practicing. For most amateurs, is there an approximate amount of time you should warm up? And then is the club sequence to go wedge through the driver, or what would you suggest?
Yeah, that's a great question. Warm up can be any certain amount of time. And I always say warm up is mainly focused on you're getting your body ready to play. You're getting your body loosened up. You're getting a feel for what your swing is going to give you that day. Every day is so different. It's really easy to get stuck in trying to have the perfect practice to translate it to the perfect golf. But I would say when I do warm up, I start with my wedges, wedge, and then every other club, wedge, 9, 7, 5, hybrid driver. It gives me a feel for every single club, every single swing that I'm going to have that day. So as long as you feel like your warm up, get your body ready, you're not overly tired, you're not beating balls for an hour and a half before 18 holes, I think that is what's the best program for you. My warm up on the range, even when I'm competing, is maybe 30 minutes. Then I will chip and putt for about 25 minutes. So I give myself an hour total for a warm up before a competitive round. And everybody is different. It could be 20 minutes. It could be an hour and a half for competition. But as long as you're not tiring yourself out, you're still in the moment of staying focused and ready to go play a full 18 holes. That's what's best for you.
Very good. So once again, you can hear all of this great instruction. You'll see yourselves on GolfPass Academy. And just go to GolfPass for this wonderful instruction with our great teachers. And in fact, we want to bring all of them out now. And we'll get some questions for you before we wrap things up. So come on up, guys. Yeah, give me a hand. Guys, wonderful job today. We covered so much, and you guys made it so easy to absorb. So it was really, really well done. Thank you so much. Here they are. This is your chance. So if you have a question, let us know. Okay, let's go.
I carry 3 hybrids, and when I align my shot, I align the leading edge. Yet, without fail, my ball fades. What am I doing wrong?
How about Natalie? Go ahead. Take that.
Are you only doing that with your hybrids?
Yes.
Okay. Would you draw it with your other clubs?
Well, that's the shot I'm hoping for. This a draw.
Okay.
I don't always fit that. Sometimes it goes pretty straight.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid. Without fail, even though I'm very careful about setting up with that leading edge, pointing down my target line.
I'm just going to grab a hybrid really quick. I think one of the things, because hybrids are actually set up to help you draw the ball more, they're definitely promoting that. If you are trying to stand it up maybe a little bit too tall like this, where you're trying to get the bottom to sit maybe too flat on the ground, that might be happening. It's okay to let the toe sit up a little bit off of the ground, and that might help the ball curve the other way a little bit more versus trying to, make sure that it's super, super upright with that bottom flat on the ground. Just kind of let it relax down a little bit.
When we're swinging through the ball and we're contacting the ball, should it really just be straight? Like when you strike it, should it be straight, your follow through right at what you're going? Or do you finish, like someone said, a little towards right field as you're coming through the ball? Like, how do you guys do that?
Dev, you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah, let's talk about it. The first answer I would say is it just depends on what your typical ball flight is. So like when Natalie was saying, try to swing towards right field, that's perfect advice for someone that maybe swings too much to left field. As far as if you want to hit the ball dead straight, which as a lot of us can tell you, most people don't hit it dead straight. It's a little draw, a little fade, but at impact, which is in a very long period of time, I think it's like 4/10,000ths of a second, it should be traveling right at your target. But afterwards, it should be actually arcing back in. So it's kind of an inside, like a hula hoop, inside to inside. And then depending on how early you hit the ball, if you hit it from the inside, it might be more of a draw. And if you hit it a little bit after it starts to arc left for the right-handed golfer, then it might be more of a fade. But, I would just try to play the shot that you can be the most consistent with. It doesn't rob you of distance. I mean, there's really good players that have played fades historically and vice versa with the draw. And certain people, I think, whether it's eye dominance or what their body's able to do, are going to cater more to a certain ball flight. And also just mentally, like if you see a certain shot that you like and you're able to play that better, that's probably going to be the best ball flight for you. So at the end of the day, the actual path at impact is what's going to determine, and the face relative to that and the contact point, all those things, is going to determine the ball flight. But, what you might feel is potentially something totally different to give you the shot that you want. And so just finding out that information is helpful.
First of all, go Devils. So I'm not a very good golfer. And so one bad shot invariably leads to 3 or 4 bad shots in a row. How do you get yourself back on track after hitting one bad one so you don't hit 3 or 4 bad ones after that?
Cheyenne?
Yeah, I think we've definitely all been there, and it can snowball very quickly. So for me, when I'm on the golf course, I hit a bad shot. What I try to do is analyze what just happened. Maybe why did I hit that shot? Think about how can I fix it? Move on to the next. That way, your body is listening to what your mind is saying of, this is what happened, let's adjust and fix it for the next shot. You can't control, again, what's going to happen. All you can do is have the great thoughts of what you want your body to do and what you want your ball to do, and focus on that shot in front of you. It's easy, again, to snowball on the golf course, so if you can stay in the moment and focus on that, that's all you can really control and do.
I just got a quick one for you. Do you prefer the draw or the fade?
Blair?
With my longer clubs, I've always hit a little baby fade. With my shorter clubs, I've always hit a little baby draw. So I like having that control off the tee. I've always hit the ball far, so having that little baby fade with my longer irons and or driver, I just feel like gives me control and I can really get after it. And then, like I said, with the irons, that little baby draw, I like to see it kind of just coming in to the flag.
All right, let's step to the middle. We'll take a final bow with our instructors here. Thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone here for being a part of this. And now we can take all of this information. Yeah, I know you've processed it. It's ready, and you're going to be able to apply this to your very next round. Right now, you'll be able to do that. So it's all in order in your brain, I'm sure. But how about one big round of applause for this crew? What a great crew we have. And I want to thank everyone for being a part of the initial GolfPass Academy. You can see this show and other great instruction on GolfPass and on some of the other streaming services like Peacock, etc. So you were a big part of the show. I want to thank you very much. And I want to thank our instructors as well. Nathalie Sheehan, Devan Bonebrake, Cheyenne Woods, and Blair O'Neill. And I'm Vince Cellini. We thank you for being here. It was a lot of fun. We're all better.